Welcome to Home Turf Radio, of course, where we break down the stories shaping law, politics, and public trust. And today's kind of episode centers on a remarkable turn in a saga that has already had more twists than most political thrillers. Michael Cohen, yes, that Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former personal attorney and self-described fixer, has published a new Substack article that's sending shockwaves through legal and political sources, and not because he's defending Trump. In fact, he makes a point of saying he's not doing that. Instead, Cohen is taking aim at the prosecutors who built two major New York cases against the former president. Of course, let's walk through what he is alleging and what it means and why the fallout has already begun. I'm like, right? In a Newsweek article, that on the Media article that came out, also that had a little stuff like that, but in his article on Substack, Cohen argues that the prosecutions against the inept clown in New York were driven not by evidence but by politics. He says that from the first meetings with investigators, both from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the New York Attorney General's Office, he felt pressured to shape his testimony to match what prosecutors wanted to hear. I am so shocked. Of course, according to Cohen, the message was clear. His value as a witness depended on how well he could support the narrative prosecutors were building. And when his answers didn't go far enough, he says prosecutors leaned in with leading questions designed to push him towards the conclusions they needed. Now remember, Cohen wasn't some peripheral figure. He was the key witness in two major cases. Number one, the civil fraud case brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James, accusing the inept clown of inflating his business assets. Trump initially lost that case with a massive $454 million judgment, a judgment that has been since overturned on appeal. Of course, second, the criminal case brought by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, widely known as the Stormy Daniels hush money case, which was very much hilarious to me in my eyes. The inept clown was convicted there as well, but that conviction is now being reconsidered by a lower court. So Cohen's testimony wasn't just important, it was foundational. And of course, Cohen insists he is not trying to rehabilitate Trump or revisit Trump's conduct. Instead, he frames his decision to speak out as a warning about prosecutorial overreach. He writes that he has witnessed firsthand the damage done when prosecutors pick their target first and then seek evidence to fit a predetermined narrative. I am shocked and dumbfounded by this insanity. I am shocked and dumbfounded by this. Of course, he writes that he has witnessed firsthand the damage done when prosecutors pick their target first and then seek evidence to fit a predetermined narrative. He argues that when politics and prosecution becomes indistinguishable, the public loses trust, not just in individual cases, but in the justice system itself. Whether you agree with Cohen or not, that's a serious charge. It goes to the heart of how the legal system is supposed to function. Evidence first, conclusion second. He wrote this on there. From the first time I began meeting with lawyers from the Manhattan DA's office and the New York Attorney General's office in connection with the investigations of President Trump, Cohen wrote, I felt pressured and coerced to only provide information and testimony that would satisfy the government's desire to build cases against and secure a judgment and convictions against President Trump. Of course, during my time with the prosecutors, both in preparation for and during the trials, it was clear they were interested only in testimony from me that would enable them to convict President Trump. When my testimony was insufficient to point the prosecution sought to make, prosecutors frequently asked inappropriate leading questions to elicit answers that supported their narrative. He is not trying hard not to rehabilitate him, but in all essence, he kind of did. He really kind of did. Then came the fall. Then came the fallout. And man, I mean, the reaction was swift. Of course, Midas Touch Network, the progressive media company that produced Cohen's two political shows, Political Beatdown and Mea Culpa, issued a terse announcement on social media. It read like a programming update, but the message was unmistakable. They're cutting ties with Cohen, effective immediately. They will no longer produce or carry either show. Look, and it goes like this: programming note, my in a programming note, Midas Touch Network will no longer be producing or carrying the shows Political Beatdown or Mea Culpa with Michael Cohen. That right there ended it real quickly. This is a network that is built on a large audience, on anti-Trump commentary. And Cohen was one of their marquee voices. So this isn't just a personnel change, it's a rupture. Lev Parnas went on Substack and said, I am honored and proud to stand with the Midas Touch Network. They represent what true independent journalism is supposed to be. Fearless, accountable, and willing to course correct when the facts demand it. Like many others, they were conned by Michael Cohen's grift. That doesn't make them weak, it makes them honest. And when the truth becomes clear, they did the right thing. He also adds, let me be clear. I support Midas Touch's decision 100%. Owning a mistake and cutting ties is exactly what integrity looks like and don't do anymore. Is excuse lies, manipulation, or self-serving behavior just because someone once had proximity to power. If you're still associating with Michael Cohen, promoting him, platforming him, or defending him, until those answers come, the responsible thing to do is to step back. Accountability isn't optional anymore. So yes, I stand with Midas Touch Network. I strongly encourage everyone who cares about real journalism, real accountability, and real justice to do the same. Boycott anything tied to Michael Cohen and until the truth is finally out. This moment demands standards. It demands courage. It demands that we stop rewarding grifters and start backing journalists who are willing to put truth over ego. And he also finished it up with enough is enough. And I personally agree with that very much from him. And of course, Cohen's claims raise a lot of questions about prosecutorial conduct, about political pressure, about the reliability of key witnesses, and a broader perception of the justice system. But they also raise questions about Cohen himself. Why now? Why this message? And what impact will it have on the cases still in motion? Cohen says he's speaking out because he believes in the integrity of the systems at stake. Critics will undoubtedly say he's undermining cases he wants to build. Supporters may argue he's exposing a problem that extends beyond any single defendant. What's clear that this story isn't over. Not for Cohen, not for the prosecutors, and not for the public trying to make sense of it all. I'm gonna say this. I'm just shocked. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed by someone who I actually supported and had a high respect for, become a full-fledged grifter. I'm annoyed, and I can't support this. I cannot support that. Even if I have to admit, it's tough. It's hard to say. They are upset. They were screaming. A lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were speculating about it. I agree with that, and I agree with that. And those who act like this look like, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. It's just sad. and it's always going to be sad. But that's all for this. And if you found this helpful, make sure you want to check out the our YouTube channel, or everywhere I get this, because stories like this tend to develop fast, and I'm just gonna be here to unpack every turn. A little bit of a shout out for everybody. I'm like, if you haven't already, you should read Malcolm Nance's the plot to destroy democracy. This is a really good book from Malcolm Nance. This is like he's like the best-selling author of the plot to hack America. The forward is done by the late Rob Reiner. Tremendous. If you haven't read it, do so now. If you don't bother reading his work, I hate to say it, you're missing out on a lot of stuff that's going on in this country. And from a pro democracy perspective of Malcolm Nance, I close out each of these videos with saying, "Stay happy, stay healthy, be a good human being." And I wish that Michael Cohen, you betrayed a lot of people. You betrayed a lot of people with your grift, and you betrayed me as a human being. Hope you got that. I hope you got that money coming from Mar-a-Lago coming your way. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back as soon as possible with more from this. Thank you.